happening, guys? Silent Mike, Super Training Gym, Mark Bell's Powercast, ReGolf1.com, here checking in for my boy Omar. We're going to talk about this big-tittied fiend. My boy, Little Smokey, just completed his, I don't know, 4th or 5th powerlifting competition where he benched 419 pounds, weighing in at 180 pounds of body weight. I know he looks fatter than that, but it's all in the titties. Ass and titties. Ass, ass.
Ass and titties and big booty bitches. Ass and titties
and titties. Ass. So, Smokey came to me about 8 weeks out from his meet or so. I had coached him a little bit, but never did he just like throw me the reins and say, Mike, go. He would come with tips. We obviously train together all the time, but I like it more. I am a control freak in many senses of the word. I like to control the entire program from accessories to warm up to nutrition to everything. So then I know if something's fucked up that it's kind of on me. Rather than if I'm doing his bench press and Chun Li's doing his squats, then if they conflict, then I have no control because I can't really do that stuff. But anyway, so I think you said you had about 8 weeks or so where you couldn't even do a push-up.
Yeah, there was about probably 6 weeks where I couldn't even bench or do a push-up. My shoulder was hurting that bad.
Yeah, so he was getting a lot of shoulder tendonitis. He was going to ART once or twice a week, trying to get it all fixed, and I think that was kind of helping. It was kind of like my back situation. Like it was helping, but it was never fixing. One thing that Smokey is, he's built up a lot of muscle through accessory work to become a great bencher. He's already kind of stocky, but he's built up huge arms and a huge chest, a big back to already become a good bencher. But that's one thing we had to tone back a little bit. He likes to train ridiculous high volume in all his accessory movements and exercise variation, close grip, slingshot, whatever it might be. But he wasn't so into actual training competition bench and then chilling. So we only had 8 weeks. So 8 weeks in my mind is go time. That's the minimal amount that we need to prep for a meet. So we had him purely competition bench. Typically I'll do some overhead work, but since his shoulder was beat up, we eliminated all that. And beyond the bench press itself, paused bench press competition grip, basically all we did was a little bit of back work to even out the shoulder. Yeah. Let's first talk about what was hurting his shoulder and why. What happens a lot of times is to find range in the bench press, whether we get tight pecs or our back is not squeezed tight, shoulder blades aren't together, we'll try to find range to touch our chest by internally rotating that shoulder, and that just puts a crazy amount of pressure here on our delt. Some may call it a heave, and then you'll have to heave it out. Basically our elbow will be underneath or behind the bar, and then we'll kind of wedge our shoulder to get that bar moving again. A lot of people bench a lot of weight that way, and you can really get it moving, but typically it helps when you have a big belly, because that belly can bounce it out of that sketchy range. Smokey does not. He's lean, mean, fighting machine. Look at those abs.
Shredded.
Shreds life. So what we had to do was make sure, which he already knew how to do, it just got a bad habit, I think, of keeping that back as tight as possible. Keeping that back as tight as possible and finding range by squeezing those elbows underneath the bar. When the back is tight, he finds range by bringing those elbows just in front of the bar. This shoulder right here doesn't move. If you guys can see, this shoulder right here doesn't move as much. We have them tucked together behind you, and he's just laying it on his triceps on your lats. Bada boom, bada bing. So step number one, and the number one priority going into a meet for anybody, anything that no one talks about, is you have to feel good and you have to be healthy. If you're beat up, you don't feel good, you're not healthy, there goes all your chances of having a PR meet. So number one, we had to fix that, which I was just cueing him over and over. Along with actually cueing him over and over, we did a lot of face pulls, a lot of external rotation to get that back in place, that shoulder back in place. And then number two was that we pulled back on the reins a little bit. We trained sub-maximally. Obviously, I'm a big fan of that. I've done it for a long time. Before super training, I trained more of a small Shako method where it's more, 60 to 75%. But then even more recently, working with our boy, the couch, Jeremy Hamilton, he's also a big fan of that. So it's kind of train less, train perfectly, train fast to lift more. And so Smokey wasn't used to that either. He was probably used to benching above 85%, 2 to 3 times a month? Yeah.
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe more. And so that was a huge mental thing for him to give me the confidence to do that. But I had the utmost confidence in him that would proceed and lead to a PR. So basically all we did is 8 weeks, super linear, super basic. We trained sub-maximal, lower reps so we could practice that form. Practicing the setup, practicing the sensation of the bench press and the setup is so important for game day. On powerlifting meets, you have 3 attempts. You have 3 singles that matter. That's it. So if you don't have that chance to practice in here, you come in and do one all-out set of 80% and then go home. You don't have that repetition to practice squeezing that back, practice your bar path, which Smokey's great at. So literally, what, 6 months ago, you benched 412 pounds in a meet, then had surgery, probably didn't bench heavy for 3 months.
Yeah.
And then he got into it for a month or so, trained sub-maximally, basically just working on speed, working on form, working on technique, as much as he was working on fixing those shoulders. That's a big key for everybody. When people say bench with your lats, bench with your back, what does that mean? Basically all we want is to squeeze those shoulders together and down. One, that keeps that shoulder stable. The shoulder is a very mobile joint compared to our other joints, so the only way to keep it stable is to engage this lat. Then it reduces the range of motion, chest high. Moving the bar less distance is going to hopefully give us a better chance to lift more weight, as well as being stable. Training in the correct rep range. Not saying higher reps aren't important, but that's more of an off-season deal. Once we're 8 weeks into the meet, or away from the meet, we're going to really hone in on that skill, like I said. And boom, maybe one day, if you guys are lucky enough, you'll look like Frodo's cousin as well. If Frodo's cousin was a model, it would be you.
It means a lot to me.
A supermodel.
Thank you.
You're handsome.
Thank you. I'm an 8.
Brett Gibbs, who? Check out this beard. Super training gym. Check out my boy Little Smokey on Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube if you guys want more information, more vlogs. Shout out to my boy Omar for the opportunity. We're out of here, guys. Let's go!